Welcome to yet another edition of the High School Football Roundup podcast. I'm Walter Johnson, and here's a quick preview of the games being played for the week of Friday, September 30th, 2016. And I'm your host, Walter Johnson, and we'll go ahead and get started with the games here in the Albany area, starting with the Thursday night game on September 29th up in Columbus, Georgia, as the Westover Patriots from Albany will head down the 520 or Georgia Highway 520 to face the Hardaway Hawks. And Westover comes in at 3-2 overall and 1-1 in GHSA Region 148, and Hardaway comes in at 3-1 overall, 1-1 in the region. And the Patriots knocked off Carver of Columbus in a thriller last week and hope to keep that positive momentum going against Hardaway. And the Hawks' only loss so far came against Region foe Cairo. And last week Hardaway held off Columbus High 16-10. And final score from last week's game on the 22nd of September. And another Thursday night game was Westover 23, Carver Columbus 20. So and the Patriots will look to get a victory, go to 2-1 in the region. And every region game is so important. And quickly moving along, and the Friday night action among teams in the Albany area. And the Daugherty Trojans, and the only other Daugherty County school system team in action this week on Friday, September 30th, and they'll head up to Perry, Georgia, to take on the Perry Panthers in a battle of 1-3 teams. And the Trojans from Albany finally cracked the win column last week as they defeated Albany High in a very close game last week. And 27-21 was the final score, and trailed 14-12 at the half. And it's the final non-region game of the season for the Trojans. And the Trojans will finish the regular season by playing 4 straight Region 1 AAA games. That's GHSA Region 1 AAA. And speaking of GHSA Region 1 AAA, the Worth County Rams will be at home this week against the Harris County Tigers. And believe it or not, it'll be Worth County's third game against the GHSA Region 1 5A opponent. And the Tigers of Harris County High School out of Hamilton, Georgia, just north of Columbus. And then the Rams spent last week trying to lick their wounds after losing a heartbreaker at Thomasville 25-21 on Friday, September 16th. And the Rams had the previous week off, and they looked to get things back on track against Harris County. And it's the final non-region opponent of the season, not only for Worth County, but for Harris County as well. And Harris County fell to 3-2 after having their 2-game winning streak snapped with a loss to Callaway. And that's out of Hogansville, Georgia, in the west central part of the state. And moving right along, you got Baconton Charter heading up to Dawson to face Terrell County. And Baconton has lost 3 in a row since winning their opener. And Terrell County saw its 2-game winning streak snapped with a loss to Mitchell County. And also Pelham hits the road to face Chattahoochee County. And the Hornets are 4-1 overall, 3-1 in Region 1 Single A. And the Hornets have won back-to-back region contests and look to stay in the hunt for a region crown. And Chattahoochee County won its first game of the year against Baconton Charter last week in a Thursday night contest. And Miller County is on the road, traveling to Edison, Georgia, to face the Calhoun County Cougars. And Patala Charter at 0-4, first-year program, heads up into Metro Atlanta to take on Cross Keys. In GISA action, Deerfield Windsor will try to bounce back from a loss to Bessemer Academy out of Alabama by traveling to Americus, Georgia to take on Southland. And it's the GISA Region 3 AAA opener for Deerfield Windsor. And the Terrell Academy Eagles out of Dawson will head to Noonan, Georgia to face Bethlehem Temple. And it's the final non-region contest of the season for the Eagles. And Terrell Academy knocked off Flint River last week. That's Flint River Academy in Woodbury, Georgia, in Meriwether County. It's roughly about an hour or so southwest of Atlanta, an hour and a half northeast of Columbus. And perhaps one of the top games in around the state, and especially the top game in southwest Georgia, has the Randolph Clay Red Devils at 4-0 overall and 3-0 in GHSA Region 1 Single A, traveling down to Camilla and Centennial Stadium to take on the 5-0 overall and 4-0 Mitchell County Eagles. And Mitchell County comes in at 4-0 in GHSA Region 1 Single A, and first place is on the line in 1 Single A, with Randolph Clay Mitchell County meeting, and both teams have scored tons of points in 2016, and the winner will not only stay undefeated, but will also take over first place. So that's a huge game. And in the time left in this podcast, and how about some other games of interest among teams in the Southwest Georgia Network coverage area. And remember, you can follow the High School Football Roundup podcast on Twitter at SWGA Network, and numerous other places. And of course, Lee County and Valdosta, and Houston County are all off this week in the GHSA Region 1 Single A, but there are plenty of teams in our coverage area. There are playing, and got America Sumter going to Cairo, and the Serve Makers at 4-1 overall, and 2-0 in GHSA Region 1 4A play after stomping Shaw of Columbus 40-0 last week. We'll look to keep that positive momentum going, remain undefeated in region play. And as for America Sumter, the Panthers are 2-3 overall and 1-1 in Region 1 4A, and they split their first two region contests against the two teams in the league. They're nicknamed the Patriots, and knocked off the Westover Patriots from Albany 21-6, but lost 24-7 in a Thursday night contest to the Northside Patriots from Columbus in Columbus. And perhaps one of the top games in all of Georgia this week will take place up in Cordele, Georgia, as the 4-0 Brooks County Trojans from Quitman will take on the 5-0 Crisp County Cougars. And Shelton Felton is 8-7 overall for his brief head coaching career, but of course they're 5-0 so far this season, and their last three wins have all come on the road. And a really huge game up in Cordele, and another big game taking place in Tifton. The Tift County Blue Devils at 4-2, playing host to 4-0 Fitzgerald, and Class AA Purple Hurricanes stomped Smith Station of Alabama. Huge win, convincing win, 41-14, while Tift County snapped a two-game losing streak after starting 3-0 with a 31-20 victory over Class 6A Coffee. And it'll mark the final non-region contest for both teams. And while this game is not in Middle Georgia, and it's a very interesting game nonetheless, as north side of Warner Robins and out of Region 16A, playing host to Class Single A, Macon County out of Montezuma, Georgia. And north side of Warner Robins, one of just two Region 16A teams to see action this week. And the Bulldogs of Macon County, and a very excellent team, and where their victories came against two-time defending Class Single A Public School State runner-up Macon County. And another Region 14A contest, and got Shaw taking on Carver Columbus. And Shaw is 0-2 and 1-4 overall, and 0-2 in GHSA Region 14A. And Carver Columbus trying to bounce back after their loss to Westover from right here in Albany. And Turner County hits the road to face Lanier County out in Lakeland, Georgia. A critical GHSA Region 2 Single A matchup. And as is once you get into region play, and every matchup is so critical. And down in Valdosta at Martin Stadium, Berenosa Concrete Palace and Lowndes plays host to Ware County, and the 7A Gators have reeled off 5 straight wins since their season opening loss to arch rival Valdosta at the Wintersville Classic at the very beginning of the season on Friday, August 19th. And the Vikings will face a Ware County team that's team that's been up and down all season long. And one of the Gators wins, however, did come against Class 6A Coffee. And speaking of Coffee, the Trojans will try to bounce back from their loss to Tift County by playing host to Warner Robins. And the Demons got their first win of the season as they knocked off West Lawrence last week. And some other game and some other games of interest. And seeing one more game of interest among teams here in Southwest Georgia. Got Tift Area Academy traveling to Thomasville, Georgia, to take on the Brookwood Warriors. And Tift Area coming off a big win over Southland last week, and to open GHSA, make that GISA Region 3 AAA play. And the Panthers improved to 4-2 overall and 1-0 in GISA Region 3 AAA. And hard to remember the last time Tift Area started region play with a victory. As for Brookwood, and the Warriors will try to bounce back after being upset by defending GISA Class AAA state champion Valwood from Valdosta last week. And last, but certainly not least, got Westfield School from Perry heading Savannah to face Memorial Day. And on that note, and that's going to end this edition of the High School Football Roundup podcast. And remember, you can follow the High School Football Roundup podcast on Twitter, SWJ Network. I'm Walter Johnson. I'm out of time.